Hello and welcome. We are inside the bunker with top military historian Tom Cooper, who's just also announced the launch of his book in Bharat, the 88 Hours, India versus Pakistan. But right now we're going to be focused on the fury in the Gulf, and there are punch and counter punch. So the Iranians are also not backing off. The latest that's just coming in, Tom, and we'll take our viewers through that, is that the Iranians have now confirmed the super heavy Khorramshahr-4 missile has been launched towards occupied territories. This missile with a 1-ton warhead and the code Ya Hassan Ibn Ali, peace be upon him, was launched early this morning towards the positions of the Zionist regime. They claim to have hit the Ben Gurion airport and then the occupation army's 27th air base, that is the IDF's 27th air base, with the Khorramshahr-4 missiles, and our missiles penetrated the 7 layers of air defense in the occupied territories and caused hell for the enemies. Now, why is this Khorramshahr so important, and what's the significance, Tom?
Well, the Khorramshahr is the heaviest ballistic missile in Iranian arsenal. Foremost, it enables the country or the IGC to strike Israel from the relative safety of central Iran, where there is less presence of US and Israeli aircraft, actually next to no presence of Israeli, perhaps some presence of US aircraft.
So let's quickly see here, yes, if you don't mind. Where in Iran would they have launched the Khorramshahr that has to go all the way up to Israel?
Approximately, let's say, from this area. From this area, which is quite large. This is enough to reach Israel. Especially up here in the north. They are still close to Tehran, to the factories, to the ordnance facilities, and so on and so on. And you have this 2,000 kilometers range. This is exactly, 1,000 to the border, 1,000 inside Iran, to strike on Israel.
What interesting, what they say is this has penetrated 7-layer defense system.
Yes.
How is that possible?
Well, they are talking about different layers. We have explained this several days ago.
Yeah.
We have first layer would be American SM-6 and THAAD missiles, anti-ballistic missiles, which are reaching something like up to here.
Okay.
Then the second layer would be, well, let's say this is 2 layers probably. Then they probably think in terms of Patriots, which would reach something like here.
So these are the Patriots here?
Yes.
Okay.
Then the, what is else, David
Arrows,
Sling.
arrows,
Israeli David Sling is probably slightly longer ranged. Yes, Arrow, of course, as well, probably up to here, and so on and so on. So they're talking about such layers in terms of ranges of different...
Then you have the Iron Dome and finally the, the short one. They've got 3.
Iron Dome is the last stage defense.
The Iron Dome is the last stage defense. So they're saying it penetrated all these 7 layers, and then they have landed in Tel Aviv. Yeah. Now, what does that imply to the viewer who's watching this? If a Khorramshahr can be launched from here and can penetrate these layers of defense and still land in Tel Aviv?
In Tel Aviv. That means that IRGC has at least a minimum of freedom to launch such a missile. Foremost, it has still in its hands a weapon of terror and can strike Israel, or as they call it, Zionist entity. And this is, of course, well, the very purpose of continuing this war in form of guerrilla warfare, missile guerrilla warfare.
Right. Now, you can see the amount of damage. We got pictures coming in from Tel Aviv where the amount of damage is visible. But the moment you have a Khorramshahr launching, so it's got to be launched from a flat area and a launcher. It's not like that it can have a mobile launcher because it's a
it has a mobile launcher. It has fired from a mobile launcher. This mobile launcher, let me draw it just for example, for viewers now. There is a usual track.
So this is the track. Now we've got the image here. So you think this is a mobile track or is this a steady platform? So you're drawing the platform there for us.
And then there is a mobile launcher going like this. And this is a commercial, typical commercial tilt trailer, 1360 meters, stretched to the necessary length. Has 3 axes in the rear, and has a arm on which the missile is put. And then the arm is extended upwards. And this is what you see down here.
So if you see here, so what is this?
If you can freeze this photograph.
Yeah, we'll freeze this photograph and lift it. Can you freeze this, please? Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the point is now following. This is the trailer.
Yeah.
This is the command system down here.
Right.
The arm, which is moving the missile upwards is now lowered in position.
Yeah.
The weapon, this trailer, at the end of the trailer is this podest.
Okay.
On
It's
which
like a
the missile
pedestal.
is seated, yes.
Pedestal on
yes.
which this is standing.
Yes,
Okay.
and the missile is fired from it actually.
So
no big deal actually, but excellent camouflage foremost, because thanks to these rails up here, you can camouflage it to look exactly like a commercial truck.
Commercial truck.
So it is not from the air; it's actually indistinguishable from dozens of thousands of such trucks moving up and down all over Iran.
So this is possible. Now, if they are mobile trucks, that means there are no launching centers.
Yes.
It's got a range of 2,000 plus kilometers.
Yes.
So it can be launched from central Iran.
Yes.
And this creates a new headache for the US and Israeli counter forces, because they will have to start targeting all trucks which look anywhere similar.
That is
to be
one of
able
the
to
points about this entire story.
Right.
In order to keep Iran now under control, the US and Israeli air power have to air policy Iran. And the area is huge, which they have to cover. At least this part of Iran is what they have to cover now.
Right.
This is requiring immense efforts.
Right.
Tanker aircraft, combat aircraft, trained crews, weaponry, fuel, spare parts. This costs something like 500,000 per single sortie in some cases.
Okay.
Altogether with weaponry.
So slowly the cost of this war
Yes.
is only increasing for the
Constantly
Americans.
increasing. The longer this goes, and this is the advantage of missile guerrilla, they need just one such missile a week, and they are still in the fight. They are not defeated.
Right.
That is the point. From their point of view, we can now discuss whether this is a matter of fact or not, as much as we like. But we have to realize that this is the reality of missile guerrilla. It takes just one such missile a week, and they are still there.
They are still there. All right, let's move on and let's quickly get the other story out here, viewers. The next story that we have to share with you here inside the war room is that the Iranian drones hit Azerbaijan's Nakhchivan airport, and there's some terrifying footage that's come through that actually shows the impact. Now, let's try and understand how this works. What we are seeing is not a missile when we look at the picture. Now, what we're seeing there, and we'll try and freeze that here in our studio also. The impact happens. Before that, we hear the sound. Can you just amplify and play up the sound? This sound, this is a Shahid 136 drone, Tom?
Probably, but the sound I would gauge yes, although the data
there.
freeze it.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
now
just
it's
go
fully.
back a little and freeze
Yes.
it if we can, so we can identify the missile or the projectile. We'll try for it again. We're doing it live from inside the studio as we are freezing it.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
little bit
Just
more.
play a little more. One more second if you can forward it and pause it. Yeah, there. Stop. We missed it there.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not easy.
It's not easy.
But probably at
Yeah,
least
there you
something
go.
similar.
There,
if
there,
not,
there.
yes. Okay.
There. Oh, good one.
Yes, gauging by the fins, it might be 136.
It might be the Shahid 136. Let's call up the Shahid 136, how it looks. Now, we've got it on our screen. We've got the Shahid 136 drone on our screen, and that's what it looks. This is something which has caused a lot of headache and pain on our screen, if you were to see. This
Plenty of people, yes.
Yeah, can we call it on the big screen here? Is it possible to call this? Yeah, let's call the graphic and also the visual video of how it is actually launched, and it makes it very, very interesting. There you go. So that's the image that's been
Yes.
stopped, and there you go. That's the Shahid 136 drone right behind you, Tom. Yeah.
So you have this is the guidance section with different controls. Depends on what is installed into the weapon. Warhead is in this part, or sometimes up here. And depending on the variant, this can also become a part of the guidance section. If, for example, the electro-optical systems are installed here in front.
Right.
But essentially, this is the most important part. The weapon has a little bit, or this design has a little bit longer story. It was originally designed in the late 1980s on Iraqi request in South Africa. Then the Israelis assimilated, so to say, or
Right.
took over the design and developed it into their Harpia in the 1990s, sold it also to India, and then the Iranians developed
right,
it
yeah.
from the Israeli design.
Right.
Here it is
Now,
again.
yeah, if you have the demo video of the Shahid drone 136 drone, how it's launched from its tubes, there was also another.
here you
Yeah,
have-
there you go.
There is a launch rail, de facto like 6 boxes,
Yeah.
maximum 6 boxes.
We'll get the
on
launch
top of
rail
each
back
other.
again. Yeah,
You'll
there you
have
go.
it.
Yeah, just freeze this here, please. So 6
they're-
boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6
Yes.
boxes. It's
And
the
they are-
launch rack.
They are launched with help of a small rocket booster, which is in a matter of 1 second propelling them to their cruise speed of some 100 to 120 kilometers per hour, and that's enough. It's flying.
And this is on a mobile truck.
Yes. you
Again,
have-
so
you
they've
can
again
install them.
created a mobile version of how they will launch these drones.
That is
from
another
its
point.
tubes. Yeah.
If you see the entire size of this launcher
Yeah.
is equal to a 7-foot commercial container.
Container. Yes.
Like there are millions in use all over the world, usually made in China, then sent per ship to Europe or to India or whatever. And it's installed on 7.5 tons truck, commercial truck. Mercedes-Benz, Renault, Volvo, whatever is there available. And Iranians can buy, of course, such trucks as many as they want because they are freely available. These are civilian vehicles.
And this weight is about 200 kilograms. It
Yes,
can
per
carry a
single weapon.
50-kilogram payload.
Yes.
So if there are 6 drones together and even 3 or 4 of them sneak through, you have about 200 kilograms of weapons explosive on a drone. That's not going to come back.
Just one thing is important. These UAVs are not yet swarm drones. They are actually operated in streams. So one is launched, then the second, then another one, and so on. So they are streaming rather, and they cannot really loiter in the target area. It is possible to program them in order to confuse the air defense, but usually they are flying around more or less.
Their job is to fly
Yes,
and land.
and hit,
That's
yes.
all.
It-
So
they are
they,
just
they
like
will not
flying
loiter.
bombs.
They will
Yes.
not loiter or they will not hang.
This is happening rarely because the longer they are flying, the more they are exposing themselves to the air defenses. So you want to avoid this situation. You want to leave the air defenses as little time to react as possible.
Right, and the biggest headache that's been caused right now is because of these Shahed 136 drones. Azerbaijan airport, they dropped them. They've dropped them across the Persian Gulf into the UAE, Oman, Aramco. Everywhere they've used the Shahed 136. There's just some more information that we've come by, and let's try and understand this. We will try and Masoud Barzani has come out and said that the Kurds are not getting involved. The Islamic